Alright guys, before I let this actual video start, I need to clear just one little thing up. This is a still frame of part 2, in which I had one fan on the air cooler and the airflow, the Dominator Airflow GT whatever on the RAM. And so that's before. Now, I did not get this on video, this part right here. So I changed it and I took off the Airflow Pro, you can kind of see it there, and I added on a second fan. And that was because I was going to overclock on this. But, you know, as you'll find out in this video, I upgraded and stuff anyways, and you'll see what happens with that. So I just thought I'd clear that up a little bit before I get into the actual video, just because somebody might get a little bit confused about it, because I realized that I did not cover it. So yeah guys, here comes the actual video. Alright guys, I've got my desk cleared off, and there's a towel on my desk. And everything's unplugged from my computer pretty much, so you can probably guess what that means. It's time to rip some parts out of here. And what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to take off the heatsink for the processor, and then I'm going to take out the processor. And I'm 19 days into having this processor. I bought it on the 9th, it's the 28th. So it's past the 15-day... It's past the 15-day return time period, but we called Fry's Electronics, and they said if I bring it in and it checks out and it's working fine, and since I'm upgrading to a more expensive processor, they'll probably just let me do it, you know. So I'm going to be upgrading to the 8150, and I was going to wait it out for the next-gen Piledriver CPUs, but the performance of the 4100, I mean, it's a great processor for anybody other than me. Like, I just use my computer for more than what it's designed for, which means it's not up to my usage needs, I guess you'd say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the 8150, and I'll eventually be upgrading to the 8350, which is the Piledriver processor when it comes out. But for now, I don't need it. Well, actually, for now, it's not out. But I will be upgrading to that when it comes out. So we're going to take off the side panel. And I'm going to I'm going to put the camera up on a chair. So, be right back. Alright, now I've got a little bit higher of a vantage point. In fact, let me move this a little more. I've got a higher vantage point on this, so you guys can hopefully see a little better as to what I'm going to be doing. But basically, I just got to take the heatsink off and get the processor out. The mounting bracket is completely off, so now we just get to take this off and see what kind of a butcher job I did on the thermal compound. I'll tell you though, it adhered really well. Like, and I was getting, especially for an air cooler, I was getting some good temps with it, so it was excess thermal compound, but it definitely covered it up good. So yeah, I can tell I put on a hell of a lot of thermal compound. But part of the reason behind having to put a lot of thermal compound with this particular heatsink is because it's got little spaces between the heat pipes, and those have to get filled in, but I still use too much. Like, I guess, you know, when you're learning, what can be expected, really. Let's see how well... well, the graphics card's blocking it. So yeah, the processor is equally butchered with thermal compound. So what I'm going to do now, zoom you guys back out, what I'm going to do is, a little pro tip that I've heard while looking through forums and YouTube videos and stuff. Coffee filters are good lint-free cloths for cleaning stuff off. So I've got some coffee filters here, and I'm just going to wipe off a little bit of the compound on this heatsink. I'm not going to use this heatsink again. I'm going to use the H100, but it's I'm still going to get it clean. And I just realized that the rubbing alcohol is back in. Actually, no, it's not. The rubbing alcohol is right over here. I thought I put it back in the bathroom. So I got rubbing alcohol, just going to yeah, I'm not going to take the time to completely clean this right now since I don't even need it, but just one of those to, whoa, that could have been really bad because my tripod's sitting on a chair. But just to make it not so coated in, not completely coated in thermal compound, you know. I'm going to go get Q-tips, actually, because I did forget those, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back with Q-tips, and they are not lint-free, so they're not the best to use, but I'm just using it to get most of the compound off, and I'm going to use the coffee filters later to like finish wiping it, you know. Alright guys, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. The surface is perfect. The edges are 85%, I guess. So now we get the box. This is why you keep packaging, by the way. But yeah, I've got my receipt, guys. I've got the processor, and I'm gonna go try to get my 85 bucks and put it towards the FX 8150. If all goes as planned, I will be back in like 1 second with the 8150, and I'm gonna do an unboxing, and then I'll have it here and I'll install it. So hopefully be right back, guys. Alright people, I just got back from Fry's. They did approve the return and gave me store credit. And in turn, I went and bought this. Now, they gave me the full 110 plus the tax back. So I got like 120 back. This processor was 200 and like 218 once the taxes were out. So it ended up costing me under 100 bucks extra. Which, for the performance boost that this thing should give me, it should be absolutely worth that extra money. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unpack the H100, and then I've got to lift up the computer, take off the back plate, put on the new back plate for the H100, put on the H100, mount the H100 up in the top here, and yeah, so that's the next part of this video. Be right back. Alright people, I stood the case up, and you're now looking at the back panel where all the cables are hidden. And I'm almost afraid to take this back panel off because some of the cables are slightly messy, and I don't want you guys to see that, but I guess you'll have to see that. While I'm doing this, I don't think I'm going to speed it up. So while I'm doing this, it would be a good time to talk to you guys, basically, I guess. What I'm thinking of doing is when the 7970 gigahertz editions come out, like, okay, if you guys haven't heard, ATI, or actually AMD now, announced that the 7970 will be coming out in a gigahertz model. Now, there's lots of cards, 7970s, already running at 1 gigahertz, but that's overclocked. Now, the gigahertz edition 7970 would be coming straight to you at 1 gigahertz, and it would be like straight from AMD that way. It wouldn't be overclocked by the card manufacturer. And so what I'm thinking I'm probably going to do is I might pick up one of those and run that in here until the 8000s come out. And then the 8000s would go in here. I'd probably get two 8970s. And then get two 8970s and transfer the one 7970 out into a secondary computer that I plan on building. So I think I'm going to be running an 89 or a 7970 gigahertz edition when they're like available in the market. As much as I want to do the guy thing and not read the instructions, I really don't want to break anything in this computer, so I think I'll actually read instructions. I'm going to read the instructions like a not man, and then I'm going to install this properly and not break my computer like a smart person. Okay guys, it's time for part 2 of why you save your packaging and all of your accessories and stuff. Ready for this? Ready for this? The H100 does in fact require you to use your stock backplate and cooler mount, as the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Plus did not, and you had to install their backplate. So if I had like thrown the original backplate away or something, I'd be SOL right now, huh? So yeah, always save your stuff, guys. Alright guys, I just set everything back up, and you guys are going to see this boot with me. I literally have not booted it yet, so let's see if I screwed up. It's booting, and I seem to have, on the indicator lights, where it indicates a problem, it seems to be boot, which it does until it boots up, you know, so. Seems like I did everything right, I hope. New CPU installed. Please select configure to set up your system. So yeah, now I'm going to put this computer back together. Let's shut her off. But, so, we've successfully almost doubled in practice. In theory, we have doubled our CPU. In practice, it's probably a little less than that, but this is going to be one hell of an improvement from the previous CPU and just mind-numbingly different from my laptop. So, and the whole reason that I went out and decided to buy this processor that I originally said I was not going to buy, the reason I bought it was because I was editing the build logs, parts 1 and 2, you know, before this, and eventually this build log as well on this computer, and it just was killing me. Like, it's faster than my laptop, but for the performance I expected from this thing, it wasn't quite up to par. You know, 16 gigs of RAM, everything top line pretty much, you know, except for the graphics card. And it just wasn't rendering as fast as I expected it to, so I was like, forget it. I'll drop the extra $100 right now and get the 8150. So that's what I did, and now we've got the 8150 so I can edit these videos for you guys. This desk is just ruined. Like people said, white paint was bad for a desk. I was like, yeah, I know. But it's a good video background. And now it's not really a white desk anymore. It's like scuffed beyond belief. So my next desk, whenever we move, I'm going to get a new desk. And that desk will be made of wood. Well, like, okay. It'll be an actual desk that's stained wood or something, not like what I did here, which is paint MDF. Okay, it's no longer asking me to set up my processor, it's just booting into Windows, so yeah. But what I'm going to do next, I think I'll make this a separate video. I'm not going to do it in this, because I'm kind of, this video is going to be on the long side. I'm going to make an overclocking video of me overclocking this computer. So yeah guys, this has been the successful part 3 in which I installed the FX 8150, which is currently pretty much the processor of my dreams. You know, Intel is of course like the super dream, but that's not going to happen soon, so this is pretty much my dream processor until the 8350 comes out, in which case I'll be getting that when it comes out. If there's a line, I'll be in that line. If there's no line, then great. But yeah, this has been the installation of the FX 8150 and the Corsair H100. Next video, I might name it part 4, or I might just make it a different type of video. I'll just call it overclocking or something. But the next part's going to be me overclocking this 8150. One quick thing that I just noticed, and I'm going to have to talk really loud because I've got to get close to the fans here, but one thing I noticed is I put the fans in essentially backwards. So what these are doing is they're pulling the air that way into the case, which is originally not what I intended to do, but when I think about it, that's the better way of doing things, because I'm getting nice cool air fresh in, and it'll blow out that way, and it'll blow up through this one spare slot right here. So yeah, when I I'm gonna be changing out those fans for the Corsair SP series, and when I do that, I will be switching it around the other way just for more equalization of airflow. because this is extremely in. There's fans here, all pushing in, and there's just that one fan and that out, and all the little cracks and crevices. So yeah, I'll be switching it around when I get my other fans, but for now, this is probably the better way of doing things. So yeah, guys, thank you all for watching and who stuck along through this very long build log series, and thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button and leave me a comment. If you want to see more of my videos, please click subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next videos.